I had to swing the chair out of the way a bit because that nice maniac banner I got right there, as my dog walks in underneath it, was sent to me in an order that from a t-shirt I got from Paul Bearer Press, which I will show you in a second here. If I could just chase. What are you doing under there? Move, come on, move, 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 move. Okay, move. If you can see this shirt, this is an official Something Weird t-shirt. Look at this. It's got just about everything something weird you'd want on it. And again, that was from Paul Bearer Press. I ordered one of these for me and one of these for my girl, and they sent me that maniac banner. So if you want to pick one of these up, go to Paul Bearer Press and check it out. Another thing, update on what's going on with Bootz. Friday I posted that video that she was better, but as luck would have it, Easter Sunday she was limping badly again. So there was no Easter here, not that there ever was one, but anyway, I tried to get into an emergency vet, which they blew me off on because they said basically come in Monday. Give her some more pain meds, come in Monday. So I brought her in Monday, and you know, they went over her again, and basically I just got to keep a lid on her. You know, she's big, boisterous, and doesn't know her own strength, and still thinks she's a puppy at heart. So, you know, unfortunately, that's the way it is. But I'm keeping on it, and I thank everybody who reached out, you know, and I definitely thank some people who actually were generous enough to throw me a couple bucks, because I don't even want to say what this thing has cost me in the last 2 weeks. A lot. So again, my sincere thanks. I don't ask for, you know, anything, but again, I appreciate whatever I get. So again, my sincere thanks to everyone. And we're on the Something Weird kick, so we may as well check out a Something Weird title called The Big Snatch. And it's not about a huge man-eating vagina, as you would think. Basically, it's a 1971 roughie, and the only name in it is Ushi Daigard. And it's about this pervert who drives around in an abduction van and seems to have no trouble getting girls to go into this van when he pulls a cheap 25 automatic on them. Honestly, if somebody pulled a cheap 25 automatic on me, I'd stick it up their ass, but that's me. But anyway, most of these girls just waddled off into the truck, and he takes them out into the desert, all 5 of them, and they're basically going to be his slaves. And he has a manservant out there that doesn't speak, a bearded guy named Momo, who basically likes to beat on the girls at times. And there's a couple rape scenes in there. There's a couple girl-girl scenes in there. It gets very confusing at times, and it's also very soft-core. Again, 1971. Probably ran the storefront theaters in and around 42nd Street, and probably definitely the Southern Grindhouse circuits and things like that. There's no names in it. All the credits are bogus. Like I said, Ushi's the main attraction there, and it seems that one of the 5 girls is a very overeager lesbian. And I guess the selling point on one of these things is basically that one girl who won't cooperate, they tie her over a truck radiator, remove the cap, and goose the engine, and basically, as the guy says, I'm going to steam your beaver. Weirdly enough, the next scene has her walking around supposedly a little sore. And anybody who's ever worked on a car knows that opening a fucking hot radiator will give you a 3rd-degree fucking burn. So that's a little bit out the window. So they basically conspire and kill Momo in a nasty scene where they were trying to seduce him and basically strangle him with a pair of pantyhose. And then they go into the guy who they're forced to call the master. Of course, he calls them all pigs. That's what he does. The guy who plays the master, number 1, can't act. Number 2 is very unattractive. And number 3, I think any of these chicks could have beat the shit out of him. But anyway, they overpower him and basically tell them that they're going to fuck him to death. And they do. But that leads to the overtly gay chick getting the upper hand and imprisoning the other 4 as her sex slaves. And it sort of ends as it begins, with her driving off in the rapey truck to get supplies from the town, leaving the 4 girls handcuffed. So I don't even know if this is available anymore, maybe on a download. Like I said, it's 71. It's pretty amateurish and cheap and shoddy. And other than Ushi, the girls aren't too much to look at. The acting is, if you want to call it that, acting is pretty fucking horrible. But like I said, it's a little slice of life from the 70s that basically bounced around to, you know, the storefront theaters. Weirdly enough, this thing, how long was this damn thing? Shit. It doesn't have a running time on it, actually, but this thing just seemed to run a long time for a roughie. I mean, usually these things should run about 60 minutes. This thing seemed to run forever. But that was, you know, that film. Another one which I'm slapping myself in the face for tracking down because I said I was going to do it, and I know it's public domain, and I know it sucks. And Ralph Nelson happens to be one of my favorite directors, but how he got involved in this fucking mess is beyond me. And this movie is Embryo, starring Rock Hudson. And of course it's public domain. Of course it's horrible because it begins with him running over a dog, a pregnant dog, and then experimenting on it and removing the fetuses, and one survives with an experimental drug, which he calls the dog number one. And the dog is really smart and all that shit, but the dog has a vicious streak and kills one of those little foo-foo dogs and throws it in the garden. So now he wants to experiment on a human fetus. So he has a friend at the hospital who gets a fetus from some chick that OD'd and the blood type's right and stuff. So they decide to do something with that. So basically they create Victoria, played by Barbara Carrera. And this is where it bogs down. I don't know what they were trying to do here. I mean, Roddy McDowall is in there as a cameo as a chess player who loses to Barbara. Barbara is sort of homicidal and wants to basically find a way to prolong her life because what Rock had done isn't working anymore. And it gets pretty out of control when she basically hires a junkie prostitute who's pregnant and takes her fetus out, but it doesn't work. So she goes after the Rock Hudson character's daughter-in-law and winds up killing his son in the process. And there's a car chase at the end, which is all the action you're going to get. And Victoria's aging during the car chase, which crashes. And she's laying there, and basically Rock Hudson's trying to drown her in a fucking pond, and it winds up that she's pregnant, and it ends with the cops pulling him off her, and obviously she's going to deliver. Yeah, I wasted 90 minutes of my life last night watching this, and like I said, they said this film is falling into public domain since 2014. I think it fell into public domain longer than that. It's not really a good movie, and there's hardly anybody in it. Roddy McDowall's a throwaway. Dr. Joyce Brothers does a cameo, but even that couldn't save it. So save your brain cells and your money and do not check out Embryo. But the Big Snatch, you might like to dive into for a little play on words. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my thanks for asking me about what's going on with Bootz. I'll keep you updated on that. And we will catch you on the flip side.